Hi, everyone. My name is Bautista, and today we have Liz and Ndoye with us to have a chat about funding renewable energy and not the fossil fuel power plant that NJ Transit is planning. Liz and Ndoye, she's a Hoboken resident. She's a homeowner. She's an artist. You name it. She's active. She's lived in Hoboken since 1979, and I just love the energy that you have, Liz. So welcome and thank you so much for sharing some time with us.
My pleasure, Ron. This issue is extremely important to the health and well-being of Hoboken residents now and in the not too distant future. So whenever I get a chance, a forum to talk about this, I'm more than willing.
Yeah, no, and it was actually you and Barbara that reached out to me not too long ago,
Right.
with the need to really see how we can get Hoboken and Jersey City residents to know what's going on in terms of this plan. And why? Because this plan by NJ Transit is for a fossil fuel power plant that's only about 3 miles away from Jersey City and Hoboken. So this directly impacts us. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and when I grew up, I had asthma, and so she's at high risk. And I know plenty of people that would be at high risk, especially people with breathing and heart issues. So it's something it's a cause that is also close to my heart, and something that I want to really shine a light on, because the more people that know about it, the more people that sign the petition also, which is going to be attached in the link in this talk. The better chances we have that this won't be done, and that there will be a renewable energy option instead that can be done. So, Liz, could you give us more information about this project? What is so bad about it?
Well, first, Ron, I want to applaud you as a parent and resident of Hoboken for taking this issue on. It really shows your commitment to this community and everyone who either lives or works here. Because I'm going to correct you about one tiny thing. This
Sure.
natural gas fracked power plant will be 2 miles within the
Mm,
outer borders of Hoboken.
mm,
It will only be 3/4 of a mile from Journal Square, which
mm,
means folks who live in Jersey City Heights and Hoboken will be directly affected on a 24/7 basis.
mm,
This power plant will be emitting 577 cubic tons of CO2 a year. Not only that, which is bad enough already, it will also be emitting the most deadly toxic air pollution chemical, methane. Methane is like 10 times more lethal than CO2. So, methane is a huge risk to the health of communities already at risk. This is
mhm,
the thing about the fossil fuel industry. They always put these fossil fuel projects in areas where there are communities who have been impacted already. Hudson County is not nicknamed the Cancer Corridor of America for no reason. We already are rated F by the American Lung Association for air quality here. So, New Jersey Transit, want me to keep going?
yeah, please. I
Okay.
mean, this is.
New Jersey Transit wants to build this power plant ostensibly for good reasons. During Hurricane Sandy, we lost train activity completely for several days. That really impacts the shipping industry tremendously along the entire eastern seaboard. And if you lived here during that time, you have not forgotten, I'm sure, how difficult it was to get food and
Yeah.
how low we were running on food. In fact, the National Guard had to deliver food to Hoboken. That's how extreme the shortages were. This is a great thing. New Jersey Transit has the right idea in mind. However, there's no need to build a fossil fuel powered plant. There are alternative energy plans in the works already. I belong to a group called Don't Gas the Meadowlands.
Hmm.
And Don't Gas the Meadowlands already stopped one fossil fuel power plant that was intended to be built in North Bergen. We can stop this thing. It will be built on a place called Copper's Coke. Those of you who know anything about Kearney, Copper's Coke is a little spit of land in the Hackensack River.
Mm-hmm.
Is another environment in jeopardy if this power plant is to be built. Copper's Coke is very close to us, as we mentioned in the very beginning. But on top of that, it's already a federal toxic waste site. It's one of the most toxic locations in the country, and it's prone to flooding. During Hurricane Sandy, it flooded. So if we put a power plant there, which is supposed to be operating during major events like superstorms, what's the likelihood of it not being able to run at all anyway? Not to mention how much more chemical pollution will be leached into the water of the Hackensack River, already a river highly in danger with, an ecology greatly at risk.
Yeah, and I think that that's an important point, which is there's a lot of contradictions in this project, and Energy Transit just doubles down, not just on this power plant, but also we're doubling down as a state, and regardless of what has been said that we want to have more renewable energy projects, then why fund most of this polluting project with resiliency money? Correct?
Right. They would be using, I can tell you exactly, they have to build a transit grid, first of all, to enable this power plant to provide power for the entire rail system. So this is also part of this plan, and that too will create pollution. So the whole transit grid project is being funded by $546.3 million in taxpayer money. 410 million from the Federal Transportation Administration grant and 136 million from the New Jersey State Transportation Trust Fund. So these are monies raised because of Superstorm Sandy damage in order to make New Jersey resilient should we have another superstorm. So yeah, the whole thing is incredibly ironic. We're building a plant to prevent shutdowns should we have another Sandy. However, they're building it in such a way that will create more superstorms.
Yeah, it makes no sense in a lot of ways. It makes no sense if we were going to tackle climate change, the call for 100% renewable energy by the year 2030. That process has to start yesterday, not even today. And then also that money that could be invested and that should be invested in renewable energy should not be wasted in something that it's actually negatively impacting not only in the medium term with climate change, but also in the immediate with all the people that would be affected by the air pollution. And yeah, I mean, you brought up an important point with Hudson County being so badly rated in terms of air quality. And if we are to live here, if we are to raise families here and to continue to live here, I mean, my mom, she's 67 years old and she lives only 5 blocks away from me. I know so many people that live in the Heights, that live in Journal Square. And this is something that I feel like we have to share more with our neighbors, because this is something that no matter how much money you make, no matter how nice your apartment is, no matter which part of each one of these cities you live at, you are going to breathe the same air. So this is the opportunity for all of us to come together, push back, and support and make sure that the NJ Transit and the plans to do something like this are focused on clean energy, on renewable energy instead. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the history of why they haven't gone for renewable energy. They started planning this power plant way back in 2013. And at that time, renewable energy was not cheap. So they didn't even consider alternatives at that time. Here we are 7 years later. Solar power, wind power, water power. You can use wave power and something called flywheel energy, which is new to me. Even just the combination of solar and wind power for this transit grid could power all the trains in New Jersey. Additionally, Food and Water Watch, which is the umbrella group that I'm working with to stop this power plant, Food and Water Watch has devised an alternative energy plan that would enable New Jersey Transit to be the first industry in the country to have entirely solar powered rail system. They could easily put solar cells on the train tracks, on top of the train, on top of the train stations. We have gorgeous historic train stations all up and down the corridor in New Jersey Transit rail lines. They could, if they don't want to damage the historic buildings, they could put it on the less beautiful shelters. They could put solar cells on the light poles. There are countries all over the world, Australia, Switzerland, Austria, Germany is working on this as well, that have transportation systems that are fueled by the sun. And instead of building a frac gas power plant at Coppers, Coke, and Kearney, they could build a solar cell battery storage plant. There's enough. Plus, we have charted out enough land space in New Jersey that they could build solar farms.
So there are the alternatives are there, and even the space that it's intended for this power plant could be used to complement, to really make sure that we are able to have renewable energy for the transportation system that we have. And this is something that would be actually resilient because of the flooding. And some people are saying, no, but you can make maybe a flood wall for this area where the power plant is at. But I'm saying, that's one minuscule part of how wrong this plant is. But then if we're going to do that, might as well do it for the battery. How do you? What was the term? Of the solar battery
storage plant. They can have a battery storage plant there. There's also room to build solar farm. And I mean, it's perfect for that. It's already a brownfield. You can't grow anything there. You can't have industry there anymore. So this is the perfect solution. And in the end, let me address the labor and union issues. In the end, it will create many, many new jobs. Look, we're a state where unemployment is probably one of the highest in the nation. Alternative energy would be just the perfect way to build jobs, to create new jobs for folks right here in New Jersey. And well-paying jobs. The alternative energy industry is growing by leaps and bounds. If you read articles in the New York Times, the natural gas industry is dying. The fossil fuel industry is dying, which, another irony, that's part of the problem. They're desperate to hold on to their profits at this point. And they are fighting even harder, tooth and nail, to maintain the status quo. And that's what we're up against.
And what would you ask people to do as a way to take action against this power plant? Something that I mention all the time is that we have to push our elected officials to speak up against this power plant. I feel like they've been rather quiet about it. And something that I really would hope for is that more elected officials would speak against it, and proposing and making sure that we are invested in the right energy source, which is renewable energy.
Again, Ron, I can only commend you for your commitment to, alternative energy, your commitment to the environment, your commitment to people's health and well-being. I'm just so sorry that you suffer asthma, that you're concerned about your own child. It's just horrifying. I mean, we in Hoboken, for the most part, are very lucky. We, for most of us, have a middle class to upper middle class lifestyle. We don't live in environmental injustice communities. But folks in Kearney, Caucus, Jersey City, Newark, historically, abused communities, communities of color, communities of low income status, always getting hit with these problems. Yes. We folks in Hoboken now can join their struggle. We have the wherewithal to stop the fossil fuel industry from not only hurting our neighbors, but ourselves. It's more than time. We should have been organizing months ago.
Yes.
Now, I want to mention we are now in a time crunch. New Jersey Transit has been awarded air rights permits to go forward with this power plant. What was an 18-month window of stopping them is now more like 6 months. So here's what you can do. You can sign our petition, which, Ron, you're going to make available to everyone. Yes. That's crucial. That's key. You can call Governor Murphy. I wish this was TV where we could scroll this across the screen.
I can type it up too and put it in the comment box, so you can let me know and I can do it.
Chat box, and I can do that too once I'm done talking. You can call Governor Murphy. We have something called Moratorium Monday. This is so easy to do every single Monday at 866-586-4069 and demand that New Jersey Transit halts this fracked gas power plant and invests in a solar alternative. And also ask our environmental governor, who I busted my tush to get elected because of his environmental policies, to put a moratorium on all fossil fuel power projects in the state of New Jersey. Here's another thing you can do. Write the members of our town council, whatever city you're living in. But how great, folks, if Hoboken took the lead. I have written our mayor. I have been in contact with council members. They know about this power plant. We need to put, I hate to use the term pressure, but now is the time to put pressure on our elected officials to save us. It's that simple. You can bring your friends and neighbors to town council meetings, even virtual town council meetings. You can be heard. There is a period of time for public comment. Make your voices heard. Talk out against this power plant. And finally, you can volunteer with us, the Don't Gas the Meadowlands Coalition. If you can put that name in the screen as well.
Yep.
On Don't Gas the Meadowlands Coalition. Also, Food and Water Watch New Jersey. And all of these organizations have websites. There's also a website called, I just blocked it, nomeadowlandspowerplant.com.
Yeah, I just posted that as well, and I included it in the description of the video.
The petition as well.
Yep.
So there are many ways to fight back. You can contact me. I'm not sure how to do this discreetly. Um,
I can tag you on the videos.
okay,
I can tag you also on Twitter because I know you're active on Twitter as well.
I
And
am.
then in any case, if people want to reach out to you and see how they can become involved, I can definitely direct them to you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and there have been talks, presentations at the Hoboken Public Library that were organized by the different environmental groups here in Hoboken. We had Food and Water Watch do a presentation about this, not just about why this is bad, but also about the alternatives and then what we should be doing instead, which is investing in renewable energy. You even spoke to students as well, I believe, not so long ago.
I have spoken to students at a private school here in Hoboken called the Hudson School. They
Yeah,
were raring to go, and then COVID-19 hit. I was scheduled to talk to kids in the Hoboken High School Science Club, but that also got postponed indefinitely because of the virus. And
yeah,
I feel for kids at the moment. They're so overloaded with
yes,
the amount of work that they have to do from home, plus juggling the whole situation of being isolated and
yes.
quarantined. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of, that's on hold at the moment.
Yes, I hear you, and that's why the advocacy.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say the advocacy has been a challenge because of not being able to do things in person, but that's what we are, and that's why I offered doing this through social media in order to get more people involved, get more people aware that this is happening, because our window is closing on stopping it, and then refocusing the investment on something that is that has to be done right now, and that we are running out of time on all fronts. So the sense of urgency is there for everyone to get involved, everyone to speak up, and make sure that we tell our elected officials that we have to focus on the goals ahead, especially with the climate emergency that we're living at.
And if you're a finance person, and many of us now are hugely worried about our financial situation, even the well-to-do in Hoboken, we're all faced with a depression
Yeah.
at the moment. Think about this. Over 500 million of our dollars, taxpayer dollars, to build a power plant that's archaic and
Hmm.
anachronism even before it's built, that is completely unnecessary, that endangers our health and those we love.
Yeah, definitely.
It's completely insane.
It is. It is, and I'm so happy that we were able to hear you, that you are in this, and that we're in this together, and that we'll continue the fight. Thank you so much, Liz. Yes, if you
One more fact that I forgot to mention.
sure.
There is significant scientific data now that shows that when we have the next pandemic or the second wave, air pollution is going to make it even worse.
Mm,
People who live in highly polluted areas are more prone to catching the virus, and our chances of survival are less because our lungs are already compromised by air
mm.
pollution. So this is something to think about in the viral future ahead of us. And I have to thank you, Ron, again and again and again. And I support you, sir, in all of your work, particularly in your race for freeholder.
Thank you.
I think it would be refreshing, novel, completely new to have a freeholder like you who cares about your constituents and our environment and our earth.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Good luck.
I appreciate that support. I appreciate your activism, and we'll continue the fight. Thank you so much, Liz.
Right on, everybody.
Thank you so much.
All right, good luck to everyone. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ron.
You too.
Be safe.